Hey guys, thanks for tuning back in for another trade review. I took two trades on the 26th of June. Both were longs and both were great trades. I don't usually trade two times in a day, but I got stopped out quick on my first one, wasn't emotionally driven on the second. So I'm going to be going over those trades here in a little bit. I just want to go over first a Bible verse that I felt pertained to trading very well, and I just feel like it's just a major Bible verse that you should always, that you should know and trust and believe. It's now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see, and that's Hebrews 11:1. And I think that's just a major Bible verse that truly speaks to just the whole belief in the religion and in Christianity is you have to have faith. I mean, you can't always see things to believe. Sometimes you have to believe before you see. I mean, faith should not be your last resort for things, but should be the first thing that you have. Faith is something that we deeply feel, and you know, we think in order to truly believe, we must see first. But in reality, to truly see, you must first believe. And I feel like that's just 100% the truth. I mean, through the eyes of faith, we see in ways we could not otherwise see. When you put your faith, trust, and belief in God and Jesus, I feel like He makes everything right in your life. And even sometimes the things that go bad are actually setting you up for better things in life. This trade or this verse right here, I feel speaks to trading 100%. I mean, in trading, what we hope for, it can be, a well researched plan, proven strategy, or a disciplined approach to risk management. I mean, we put our hope in all the due diligence and work that we've been doing for years um, to follow these specific strategies and these different trades. And, you know, we'll get into trades when we see a confirmation from our edge, but we don't see anything truly happening yet in the market, right? We're trying to get in before these people. We see small little evidences of things happening and we get in and we have faith and trust that all of our due diligence working and plans are going to come, bring to fruition our profit. You know, day trading involves periods of losses and unforeseen factors. There's a certainty of what we don't see. It encourages us just to maintain confidence in the process, even when our outcomes aren't immediately visible. Sometimes we'll have 4, 5, 6 losing trades in a row, but if you have faith and trust in your faith and confidence in your strategy that you've tested and back tested, you shouldn't be shaken. um, just as faith in God's promises don't demand immediate results, a trader's faith in their system should focus on consistency and discipline rather than chasing quick profits. You should always have faith in your model, your analysis, and your execution. Markets are unpredictable, and we have to act with confidence, despite incomplete information. Like when we get into a trade, there's no way that we can know who's taking the other side of the trade and if there will be others that follow us after we're in the trade. So we put faith and trust in our plans. We follow plans, we make them before the market opens, we have trading strategies, and we execute them. That's all we can do is we have faith and trust and confidence in what we hope for. We don't, and assurance about what we do not see. We don't immediately see results when you get into a trade. You don't immediately see people stepping in on your side. More often than not, there's going to be slight drawdown, back and forth before we move to where you're going. And you have faith and trust and confidence in your trading plans. So I kind of just, the first, I'm thinking of adding this into most of my videos that I'm doing, just starting out with the Bible verse, kind of doing a deeper dive into what we feel and what we, think. I'm using these as a way to show that you can bring God and Jesus into the day trading area because it's not all about greed and money. Some people are only about clothes and jewelry and cars, but some people are doing this to support families, help out, provide for others who are in need, and make extra money along the way, just to help out anybody and everybody that they may need. So I just wanted to be able to show that you can bring God into this space and that there are many of us who believe in God and still trade. So that was my first little Bible verse thing, and going from here on out, we're gonna continue trying to do more. But today I'll go over the trades that I was looking at. The trading day. Let's see here, my notes from the morning plan. Let's see. So I was watching 73.66 as it was aligned with the overnight value area low and June 12th regular trading hour lows. It also was multiple areas of support and resistance and lots of buying and selling around here. You know, it was also the last month's value area low. So I was really just looking to see if we could hold this bottom right here overnight that we had also held. I was going to be looking for ways to get long, targeting. First, I wanted to look and see if I could target this overnight value area high around this 73.98 area. And as you saw here, we broke below, filled offers, and rallied up aggressively. So I was just kind of patiently waiting, seeing what came in this market right here. I was honestly, I took a poor trade the day before, and I kind of was just trying to get into a better feel and rhythm. I didn't want to force a trade. I didn't want to take, poor absorption, not from like a key level. So I was just kind of waiting as we were kind of consolidating right here. We were near value area high for the regular trading hours, and we were right near VPOC. And as you've seen, all this aggressive selling is stepping in. This is on Bookmap. And my footprint chart, there's not really too much to see here. I mean, you can see there's aggressive delta stepping in. But I was just patiently waiting, seeing if we could get this delta on the Bookmap to drop below where low a day's delta was at. As you see, there's lots of aggressive selling here. Lots and lots of aggressive selling. So in my mind, I was thinking lots of aggressive selling, right? All these participants that are trying to get short aren't being rewarded. And as you see here, low a day, bam, broke below low a day delta, which means aggressive selling participants at these highs. Yet we are nowhere near the lows, still about 13 points away from those lows. Now I was sitting here waiting, searching, looking to see if I could find a good entry, see if there's some reason to enter. And as you see here, we started making higher lows. And I was really just looking to see if possibly we could break below. Yep. See delta starting to drop below this previous low up here. So I'm seeing signs of absorption already. But right now, what I'm really waiting on is to see if we can happen to get a surge of aggressive buying to step in to show that this trade is worth it and valid. Like more selling stepping in, yeah, making higher lows, more sellers, more sellers. Nothing. Like bam. Aggressive buying. As you see on my footprint here, bam. Got in 73.77. I put my stop, I'm pretty sure right below the 72. Yeah. 73, 71.75. Yep. And ideally, I, yeah, I was about to say I'm pretty sure I move it down to about the 73.70, and that's where the first set of absorption was down here right before this 935, this lows. So I saw the strong buying I was in. I was just looking for us to break above, high a day to move to break even on this. But literally got in. I was only in it for about 30 seconds. And I'm pretty sure we get stopped out right here. And bam. Yep. Get stopped out right there. And overall, not a terrible setup. Not a terrible trade. Saw the absorption, liked it. saw the aggressive buying as you see right there, right about 938. But like I said, you got to have faith and trust in your system. This is a good, solid edge, good edge. Made higher lows, aggressive selling, not being rewarded. Bam, aggressive buying steps in. And here we go. Look, even more aggressive selling. And we hit 7368.5. And honestly, from this point right here, we rallied past high a day on up into this overnight value area high level. And my final target would have been about 74.14. And we rallied all the way there from these lows. We consolidated and chopped a bit for like 30 minutes. But overall, was a good setup, good trade. Just did not work in my favor, and not every trade will work. Not every edge and outliers and everything else will work in your favor. You just take it. That's the probability. It's a probability game. You see it, you see the edge, you see, your setup. You take the trade because you never know whether this trade will be a winner or will be a loser. No matter if they look identical to any other trade you ever take, that is just trading for you. I mean, that is a probability game. They can look the exact same, and one will be a winner, and one will be a loser. So I kind of was just sitting here watching the market. I wasn't feeling any FOMO or anything like that. And honestly, even when we um, broke above high of day and into my you know overnight value area high into 74.14 level that I had, I really was not too stressed or worried about it. I did not allow emotions to rule over me today, which I have been. If you've been following my Instagram, pretty sure a lot of my trades have simply been from forcing setups from FOMO and just emotions. When I take good setups, I mean, I take solid setups. They're good signs of an edge and absorption, outliers. But when I take poor setups, and like the one that I took on the 25th, it was no reason for entry, move to stop loss. It was just all around a poor trade. So, you know, not everything can be great, but there's always just time to learn. So that was the first trade I took this morning, like 938, quick 30-second stop out, and that was that. I mean, not too much more in depth on this. Now, my second trade that I ended up taking was a long, sometime around, let's see here. I took my second trade at, I think it was around 11:16. And coming up here in a second, you'll see on the chart that we were, let's see, around 10:56 ish. We made a low, filled an off or filled a bid, right? And before this, we had multiple other bids filled. Um, one at 74.09. Let's see if I zoom out and see it or not. Yeah, we'll be zooming out here in a second. We filled one around 74.10 to 74.09, filled a bid, and then we had a resting bid down below that. 10:56 filled another bid, and then coming into around 11:12, we had resting bids sitting at like 74.12, and large resting bids sitting at 74.10. So I was just sitting here patiently waiting. We had already made higher highs multiple times as Delta was making lower lows, and we broke below low of day Delta while we were about 40 or 50 points above it. So I was on high watch for any signs to truly get long. And coming on up here, if my mouse moves out the way, you'll be able to see see the actual live Bookmap feed. This is actually a replay because I closed down my recording at like 11 o'clock because I was like, I'm not taking any trades the rest of the day. And then, of course, setup pops up. So I had to, you know, do a little replay, show what was happening. Now, as we're coming into around 11:15 here, you see that we started hitting this bid down here. Lots of aggressive selling, lots of aggressive selling. and bam. Look, we start filling that bid. We try dropping, and we try filling, another bid here at 74.10. There we go. Now we retested these previous lows right here on 74.09, which was, there were previous lows made. Pretty sure they were. I'm not too sure the exact time. I don't have it pulled up right now. But we retested the exact lows of this 7409.5, and we had such a lower delta. This 7409.5 level also aligned with my let's see here. It aligned closely with my 74.14 previous day value area low, and it was also an overnight swing high and a low value node from yesterday and overnight session. And then at this time, it also aligned with the weekly value area low that we were holding. So, we see this aggressive selling and then followed by a very aggressive buying stepping in. Now, what I was being patient for and looking for was a sign of like a small pullback to get long on. And you'll see I'll mark here with a little circle where I entered in at the market. It was about 74.15.75. But you see, filling the offers, that means there's resting liquidity that got filled, followed by an aggressive push up. And then right here, as we had this large, another aggressive push up and small pullback, I got long. And ideally, what I was looking for was a break above this 74.27 point, like it was like 0.75 because we resisted it multiple times. Um, and we also, we had a resting offer up here, 74.25. So I really wanted to see if we could fill this offer, break above with still aggressive buying to get to the 74.27.75 level. I was waiting to go break even until I was up about, I usually do about 10 points in a high volatile market. So I was at 15.75, needed to see 25.75 test before I went break even. My stop loss was about 6 points. And ideally, I wanted to see 74.33 test, which was a resistance throughout early morning. We got up there, just chopped around, and that's where we sold off from. So I figured if we could get above 75 or 74.27, that the next zone we should be heading to test should be about 74.33. So I was just patiently waiting in this market. I was already up, 8-9 points. That was about 1-to-1 risk. And then you'll see here I'll mark. This is where my final target was, about 74.32.50, I'd say. Where it really was at, about 74.32. So as I zoom in, I'm just seeing this aggressive buying stepped in. And as we pull back into this aggressive buying, I just wanted to see us hold. Preferably have more buying step in. I really was not too worried. One about being stopped out. I wasn't really entry from FOMO. It really wasn't too much. I was just patient in this trade, which is good trade management. So right here, I went break even, filled that offer up here, and I was just sitting here patiently waiting to see, were we going to have more buyers willing to push up past this? Was this, a passive seller that wanted to turn aggressive once they got their, their fill in? And as you see, someone starts trying to aggressively sell into this market after filling this. So we were below the offer, like more aggressive selling, trying to step in. Yet no, weren't being rewarded. Boom, buyers step back in. Shows that sellers were not strong enough to overwhelm the amount of buyers that were down here. And once we got to about the 74.27 level, I started, being a little bit cautious, watching, looking. Um, just wanted to see what was going to happen. And you see all this aggressive selling stepping in. And ideally, I was just trying to watch these previous lows around this 11.19 area. If we could hold above here, 74.19 at 11.19 where we held, I was gonna look to see if we could hold above here. And all this aggressive selling was stepping in. We were making higher lows, and Delta was going lower, showing passive buyer in this market. Look at all this aggressive selling. So what I ideally wanted to see was, boom, nice spurt of aggressive buying. Stop out these sellers right here, not reward them. As they stop out, they'll have to buy into the market. So we see here, buying, stepping in, that delta's below there. Look at that, more and more selling stepping in, yet they just weren't able to break that low. They're literally just being held up right here. And there goes the buying trying to step in again. I'm already at break even at this point in the trade, so really I'm not too stressed or worried about whether we hit my stop or we go to my target. I was more so just worried about myself managing this trade. I didn't want to allow emotions to have me exit early. I didn't want to just get stressed or worry about things. I'm not really worried about the money. I was worried about following my process and following just my ability to manage a trade. And as I saw this aggressive buying step back in, yeah, went to go retest these 27s. You see all this buying here. Someone's trying to move them down. Aggressive selling. It's getting weaker. Look at that. Just more and more buys. Yep. Once I saw this step in here, I like that. I like that aggressive buying. And I wanted to see a nice, strong, aggressive break above this 74.27 level. There's the highs. Boom. Broke the highs. Sellers tried stepping in again, and there we go. Look, more and more buying, stepping in. There we go. Look at that. Right into my 74.32 level. As we hit it, I was sitting here just kind of patiently waiting, seeing how the market was going to react, whether we are going to find, aggressive selling stepping in here to try to stop us out. And I exited right there because I saw that aggressive selling right at the 74.32 where we rejected multiple times earlier. And overall, great trade. Followed my plan, sold at my levels. Didn't let emotions or fear rule over me. I took a loss earlier for 30-second loss, and followed it up with a 15-point winner. And it only took me about 8 minutes, maybe a little bit less, about 6 or 7 minutes. And I followed my plan. There's not much more that I could do. We did end up rallying to previous day's regular trading hour value area high, but I got my piece, and 15 points, solid. That's a solid win. Great way to end the week, and just good things to review this week. There were lots of mistakes, but there are also multiple great trades. 1 break even, 2 winners, 2 losers. I think it was just a great week overall. Lots of things to improve on for next week. But thank you for tuning in and giving this video a listen.